Hello, I'm Tom Tertio with the SAP Global Center of Excellence. I'm excited to demonstrate how SAP and Esri can help your utility break down the silos between GIS and IT to streamline disaster planning. In this demo, we'll show how a GIS analyst and an IT business analyst work together to prepare for a major flood. Our utility, the Naperville Electric Power Company, has been notified that a storm is going to hit Naperville in 48 hours. Let's get started. First, let's take a quick look at what you can do using Esri web maps and the vast array of information available in the ArcGIS Living Atlas. Here is a basic map of the U.S. with real-time weather data and layers. The GIS analyst uses this capability to understand the potential impact of forecasted actual weather on utility operations and service and can share that information with IT business analysts, customers, media, and first responders. I have some layers I can make visible, including wildfire and weather watches and warnings. I can see the current wildfires in the western and mountain areas of the U.S. I also can see the impact of a hurricane hitting the Gulf Coast. And in the northeastern U.S., along the Maine coast, there is another storm warning. I can click on the area in purple that shows marine zone information. I'll recenter the map over the Gulf hurricane where we can view the additional information in the live stream gauges layer. Here are live stream gauges in colors for flood stages. I turn on the legend to see what the different colors represent. You'll see the different colored dots indicating the gauges I can view. Next, I zoom in to find the gauge I want to view. I can click on the gauge and see the reading for the water level at the time I recorded this video. You can see the flow in cubic feet per second, and it is very high. I can view specific information from NOAA or NOAA about this particular gauge, including an historical graph of the gauge levels indicating previous and forecasted levels. Since we want to see what's happening in Naperville with the forecasted flooding, I'll zoom into Naperville now, and we can see what is going on. Betty, the GIS analyst, examines the impact of an expected 100-year flood on Naperville. She's pulled up an ArcGIS web map of the area she's created, grabs the layer showing the expected flooding from FEMA, and sees the flood scenario on a map. To see how the expected flood progresses over time, Betty has added a time slider. By moving the slider from left to right or pressing play, she can see how the equipment in the area will be impacted as the storm moves through Naperville. Betty presses play. At 6 o'clock, there's not much going on. However, by about 7 a.m., the first transformers become inundated and 50 homes lose their power, or are estimated to lose their power. As the flooding rises, around 12 o'clock, another transformer will become inundated, affecting another 55 homes. As the rain continues, water levels rise such that by 5 p.m., another pad-mounted transformer will be underwater as water levels rise, leaving more than 175 homes without power. Betty notices that the area between East Chicago Avenue and East Franklin is the area most in need of help. Betty wants to determine the names of the customers living in these homes. This enables the right customers to be notified, especially those with a guarantee of supply. This identifies which homes have medical devices or identifies facilities like hospitals that cannot lose power. As she selects service locations that have a guarantee of supply, which are indicated by the triangles, circles, and squares that are in red, she can see the name of the customer and the type of medical device in their residence. This information is being pulled on the fly from S4 HANA with no latency. This is done via HANA's Smart Data Access capability, accessing CDS views. CDS views are included with S4 and provide semantically rich information for many S4 objects without bypassing S4 security. No S4 data is replicated. With the likely customers identified, including those with a guarantee of supply, That's fed to a notification system so this set of customers could be quickly notified. Betty can make this map available to internal users by publishing the map to ArcGIS Enterprise. Betty has also created a map that customers can access, which shows which customers are likely to be affected as floodwaters rise. Note the map indicates the affected blocks, including the estimated time of power outage. The same elapsed time capability is made available, and you can see here at about 7 o'clock, this block is expected to lose power. As the flood levels continue to rise, customers can see if they'll be affected by the next level of flooding. So around noon, the next level of flooding will affect another 55 homes, as shown here. And then finally, around 5 o'clock in the afternoon, the final 3 blocks that we estimate will lose power are shown. Betty can simply publish this map to ArcGIS Enterprise, where it can be shared with the public, press, and first responders. Bob, an IT business analyst, is going to use SAP Analytics Cloud to assess the flood damage from a cost perspective and prepare a response plan. SAP Analytics Cloud is pulling data from both ArcGIS Enterprise and S/4HANA to enable true real-time business intelligence and predictive analytics. Here, Bob can see the end state of the flood area, and Bob is just going to enable the transformers and the area that they serve. Now, Bob looks at the 4 transformers that are going to be affected by the flood, and in turn, Bob can see the residential units and also see if there are any hospitals, nursing homes, and if there is medical equipment affected, for example. Bob goes ahead and selects a transformer, and Bob selects the first one. On the right-hand side, Bob can see the loss of revenue, which is $5,400, and this is based on the customers that the transformer supplies. The $5,400 is revenue per day. Bob can also see the nursing home and the hospital that will be affected as well. Bob definitely wants to get his resources in order to get this repaired as soon as possible. Bob clicks on the second one and sees it's actually even more than the first one. Bob sees 3 nursing homes, 2 hospitals, and 10 people on dialysis, so he definitely wants this fixed as soon as possible. Bob can see that he needs 7 resources to get this repaired. Based on the predictive analytics, Bob can see that the last time there was a flood, it took 48 hours to fix this particular transformer. And these are the skill sets required to get this repaired. Bob can now go into resources to do the planning and see who is available to do the work. Bob has several filters he sees that can be used to determine who's available. For example, he looks at October 28th, which is the day after the flood when repairs would be made. He simply unchecks the other ones and he just selects the 28th of October. He only selects people that are available for that particular skill set, which was the PTC 1000, as this was the most critical one. He sees there are 3 people available out of 7. He needed 7 resources. At this point, since he is short 4 resources, Bob needs to reach out to the other services to see if he can get other resources that he needs, especially because of what he saw given the critical customers that are affected. Bob can also see the rates for the individual contractors. Bob can now go into Predictive Analytics, which is part of SAP Analytics Cloud. Bob can see the cost per transformer for the repairs as well. Planning is another great feature of SAC, which provides Bob with the ability to go and create his workforce plan. Here, Bob can do what if by inputting numbers to do simulations and figure out how much headcount he will need and how much it will cost as well. We've shown that SAP Analytics Cloud makes it easy for Bob to determine the cost and time to repair. In summary, I've shown the power of connecting your standard Esri ArcGIS environment to real-time SAP operational data in SAP S/4HANA and analyzed in SAP Analytics Cloud. This is a no-code solution using standard SAP and Esri products. More impressively, this scenario was built in a matter of weeks with a part-time team. Thank you for watching.